Nebraska, Arizona, Colorado, Tulsa, and Cleveland State in that undefeated talk as well. We are underway, and our officials for today, Denise Brooks, Thomas Donahere, and Saif Aisho. So we're going to see who takes the floor first. UNC, their starters do not change. You can see Alyssa Usby, who we featured at the beginning of the game, and there's a foul on the floor in the first couple seconds of the game. But this is something that we're going to be seeing a lot of, Christy, as this is a very aggressive team to the rim. You mentioned how they can get the three ball off, but to see them attacking early is good to see.
Absolutely, a very unselfish UNC offense. They want to spread the floor. I think they have tremendous spacing. Players can knock down at three, but they're also so good off the bounce. Expect man-to-man by both of these teams, mixed in with a little bit of some matchup zone.
Major Kelly on the season averaging 16 points. A lot of balanced scoring from Carolina as you're looking at the BC starters for today's matchup. Taylor Soule, as we mentioned at the beginning of the game, the heart and soul really for Boston College, leading this team in rebounds as well as scoring. We'll see if she can get this team going today. Outside shot by Gerard, no good, and a scramble to get the offensive board, and they do.
Well, BC comes in averaging 12 offensive rebounds a game. Again, this is a possessions ball game. How do you create those? Get on the glass, take care of the ball.
And so far, some offensive execution that leads to an opportunity for Cameron Swartz to step to the free throw line.
Well, Angel, you mentioned the extra practice. Already, we're seeing a much sharper BC offense as they're getting the ball at the high post. There, Schwartz with the backdoor cut, gets fed the ball and draws the foul.
For BC, Coach Burnaby McNamee was speaking with us yesterday just about how she wants her team to play poised, just knowing what her offense looks like. And in that first set that we've seen from them so far, they get an opportunity to step to the free throw line.
Well, both of these teams want to work through the high post, and that's where they'll put so much pressure on you. Already the freshman, Gag Dang, has done a great job of not just catching the ball, but setting your teammates up.
And then obviously some early pressure from Boston College as well. That's something that they're known for, that junk defense, as Coach McNamee has mentioned before, and that leads to a turnover and an extra opportunity. Almost tipped away by Carolina. Gerard trying to work it around, and that underneath shot doesn't go for Gakdang. They're still trying to see if they can work something. 15 seconds on the shot clock, and they'll reset at the top of the key.
Well, I like that BC's not relying on first chances. You're seeing players swarm to get those offensive second chances.
Jalen Batts with the shot at the top of the key. That's no good. An early shot in transition. Carolina doesn't go.
BC got lucky there. They have got to match up quickly in transition because of how well North Carolina knocks it down from three.
A couple of early shots from both teams, and you can see the pace in which both teams want to play. Another early shot from outside. That one doesn't fall, and Boston College gets the defensive board.
Well, Angel, both these coaches have said, we're going to do what we do, and that means we want to push tempo. We want pace. Coach Mack believes that that bodes well for her team because she thinks she has a little bit deeper bench that she can go to.
Both teams still trying to find their rhythm offensively. Finally, that one goes down for Cameron Swartz.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again. 3 points for Boston College, all coming on second chance opportunities.
Leads right into their mantra too of just being gritty and getting those second chance opportunities that you alluded to. That's the grit that coach wants to see from her team early. You can see a lot of that pressure defense as well.
Well, this is the beginning of ACC play. You can't tell me that these players don't know it. I think that's one of the causes for some of these early missed shots in terms of the ball not falling, but the effort has been there by both ball clubs.
Dang, trying to see if she can get something to go. That's actually going to be called a jump, and that will be underneath. And for UNC, leading the charge, Courtney Banghart, third season at UNC. 15th overall. She spent 12 years at Princeton. The 2015 Naismith National Coach of the Year. She's the only current ACC coach to have won that honor. Has been remarkable in what she's been able to do so far at UNC. And even having them in an appearance in the NCAA tournament last year.
Well, Courtney Banghart is a player's coach, amazing leader, and she develops future leaders in her ball club. And I can't say enough about what she's already been able to do here in North Carolina. Has gotten this program back to where I think we all believe it should be, as one of the national powerhouses.
Absolutely. 9-0 is not a bad place to start for Carolina, but you can see the amount of tenacity and energy that Boston College has come into this game with, trying to protect home court and actually force another turnover for Carolina. Boston College coughs that one up, and there's going to be a block call on the floor. Taylor Soule will pick up her first foul, and we can't talk about UNC without talking about the other side with Coach McNamee, who has been phenomenal as well in her fourth year at Boston College. She was the 2019 ACC Coach of the Year and has been phenomenal. Talked about the adjustments that she's had to have with so many different players and faces on this roster, but finding their identity and the grit that they want at this point, and how they can get back to having that sense of this is who we are and respecting within this league.
Yeah, Coach Mack's another one of those coaches who I think on the national scene doesn't get enough credit for everything she's done. So much respect for her. And, you know, I got to bring this up very quickly. BC is in the midst of finals. They had players attend practice yesterday morning, go take finals. They have finals again tomorrow. This is not an easy feat for anyone.
Coach Mack was telling us even yesterday that's why they have this home game, and they'll be able to have their next game at home as well. So that'll be very interesting to see how they can continue to counter that. And very interesting enough, Todd Williams doesn't have a shoe, sliding all over the floor. Eventually got the call, but this is what led to it.
Wearing a shoe is overrated for any young player, but I love that she didn't stop. She just kept going. These players want this afternoon.
I would definitely have to agree, because I don't know if you played without shoes before. The court is pretty slippery, but if she would have knocked down a three at that point too, I would say, you know what, have her go the rest of the game without the shoe.
That would be a bad infomercial for Nike though, right?
Probably so. We'll just leave that in the past then. Alyssa Usby. Jump shot no good, and UC doing a great job of limiting Carolina to one shot at this point.
I was just thinking the same thing. And on the flip end, they've been able to create those extra opportunities. I think the key right now for Boston College is to continue to play defense, but without the fouls. Already 3 during the first 4 minutes of the game.
So BC underneath, a lot of contact, no foul called. Gakdane gets the rebound again, but underneath, Carolina comes out, pushes in transition. Coxon just recently checks in, tosses it out, and finally, a 3-ball from outside is knocked down by Carly Littlefield.
We'll give Hodgson all the credit for that, because she attacked the rim and brought in all the defense. Carly Littlefield spots up and knocks it down.
Shooting 42% from the three-point line. Hodgson didn't like the layup attempt there, so she'll pass it around. Another three-pointer up for Carolina. That's not going to go. And Cameron Swartz tracks it down for the rebound and gets fouled on the play.
UNC comes in averaging 41% from 3, and Carly Littlefield says, get me the ball, spots up on the weak side, feet set, knocks it down.
Boston College 7-2 overall, 5-0 at home, but this is what it's looked like as far as their wins and losses. Something that stands out to me, Chrissy, I think it stands out to you as well, is that turnover department, and just seeing that 8 turnovers total from both teams for today. What are you seeing so far and how they can adjust going forward?
It's just ball security. A couple have been off the passes where I don't think they're seeing the defense. They're looking just at their teammate. And this is the old coach in me. The only way to win a game is to get the shots off. How do you do that? Take care of the basketball.
You can see it going back and forth between both teams. Something of note, Taylor Soul is on the bench with 2 fouls, so we'll see when she gets back into the game. That's detrimental for Boston College, as she is the heartbeat for this team, leading them in points and rebounds. And that's going to be a foul. Deja Kelly with a nice take to the rim.
Well, Deja Kelly's another one of these super sophomores that's increased her production. So good, change of pace there, makes the defender go vertical, drives right by her to draw the foul.
She is a scorer on my sheet. She's scored in double figures every single game this season. She has 2 20-point games as well. So she's just been missed consistency for Carolina this season.
Well, she's upped her points per game by 5, her three-point field goal percentage by 14%, and her rebounding. I mean, that's what you expect. A year of experience, grow, mature, and impact your team in more than one way.
Smart player, knows what to do on the floor. Sophomore out of San Antonio, Texas. We'll see if she can continue to pour in the points. That one is no good for Kelly at the top of the key.
I would like to see BC maybe get a ball reversal. Make North Carolina work on the defensive end and try to get an uncontested shot at the rim.
Boston has been in a drought as far as scoring. Carolina with 6 points over them at this point. Still looking to find that bottom of the bucket. Carolina comes down with a rebound. Kelly dishes it off. Contact, no call. And Boston College comes out of the pack.
I like the no call there, but I also like that the play, I think just by trying to draw the charge, it took Usby's eye off the rim.
And another turnover for Boston College. We'll see if they can clean that up. Well, we have 4 great women's basketball games this afternoon on ACC Network, and the next 2 are going to be must-see TV. Following our game, Virginia Tech center Elizabeth Kitley leads the Hokies against Florida State in their balanced attack. And then at 4, Alyssa Kinane and the number 2 NC State hosts Virginia at Reynolds Coliseum. All games are right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. One app, one tap. How about NC State? I know they had the upset loss against Georgia earlier this week, but Alyssa Kinane has been absolutely phenomenal in her senior season.
Absolutely, and Angel, I've been saying this all season. I don't believe that, I think the term upset's being used way too much right now. I think what we're seeing is the byproduct of fifth-year seniors, of the transfer portal. I think we're getting more and more parity in our game, which is great for it. And I'll go back to that NC State game. I think, yeah, on the outside, a lot of people, because of rankings, are calling that an upset. But when you look at the 2 super seniors on UGA, I thought it would be a kind of game that we saw, just that back and forth. And unfortunately for NC State, UGA just made one more extra play down the stretch.
Well, there you have it. What about the upset with Georgia Tech and UConn as well, though? Is that an upset in your eyes?
You know, credit Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech can play some defense. And I thought the game as it progressed was going totally Georgia Tech's way, because if they could keep it low, because Georgia Tech's shown a propensity to struggle to score. And you know what? As long as you get enough points more than the other team, you're going to win. And I just thought it was a great win for Georgia Tech and the ACC as a whole.
Absolutely. Well, finally, Boston College pouring in some points in the last couple of possessions. Carolina lead cut to 4. It's Hodgson working the baseline. Kelly turning down the outside shot. He has the scoop, an unbelievable finish on the left side.
Angel, that was a great job by North Carolina to attack rim, and credit Hodgson for not forcing it, kicked it out, and that allowed the lane to the basket for Kelly to score.
Well, they have 3 assists right now on 13 or 9 of their field goals, so hopefully they can continue to work the ball around. At this point, Hodgson and Kelly are definitely taking over. Kelly with 6 points and trying to see if they can keep it going.
I think that's a shot BC will give North Carolina all day long, is pull at the high post.
And an and one for Boston College. We wanted offense, and I don't know what happened after that last break, but Boston College surging at this point brings it into 1.
Coach Mack told us we want pace, Gerard pushing tempo, passes ahead. Unfortunately, Dickens can't make it, but that pulled the defense, leaving Gakdang open on the weak side for the putback and the foul.
Gakdang has been one of those players that has been consistent for BC. She started every game this season, her high 15 points. Looking for her first double-double. I think that's the next challenge for her in her game with her length, with her athleticism, is knowing how to put points on the board, but as well as collecting those rebounds as well.
Well, I think she's going to grow so much from this game. Obviously, they beat Penn State. That was a game of a lot of zone that she saw. Here, seeing a lot of man versus equally sized players. Gakdang's got a great upside, and so you need these kind of games to learn, see the film, go back, apply it, and look out, Sacred Heart, because I think we're going to see her come out in a big way on Tuesday in their next game.
Freshman out of Landon, Maryland. You obviously saw in the graphic, too, what she can do as far as protecting the paint and blocks. Carolina extends their lead to 3 with the free throws. Dickens working around that, no good. Another offensive rebound for Boston College. That one is actually Gerard finishing up and cleaning up for 2.
But credit Maria Gakdang for keeping the ball alive. Knew she could get the rebound, so tipped it to Gerard for the 2.
Kelly with the ball on the wing, trying to direct her team on where she wants them to go offensively. 40 seconds left in this first quarter. 10 on the shot clock. She dribbles the ball off her foot, and Boston College has another chance in transition. They don't get the layup, but they do get the foul, and that's going to send JoJo Lacey to the free throw line. Transition has definitely been something that Boston College has used to surge back into this game.
Well, credit BC for putting the pressure on, but they're not stopping small North Carolina that is. And so players are running their lanes. They're able to feed one another, just getting some easy scoring opportunities because of pure effort.
And that's something that Coach Mack was telling us yesterday as well, just how they use their pace, their speed against Carolina, and just knowing what to do as far as, you know, pushing in transition. Are you seeing some of that early or even late in this first quarter?
Yes, because I believe Coach Mack's philosophy is not the first 10 minutes, but the full 40 minutes. And when you press, when you keep that tempo up, there's a cumulative effect that sometimes can wear on teams by that fourth quarter.
About 20 seconds left in the first quarter. 1 second difference between game clock and shot clock. Top of the key, and that shot is good by Carly Littlefield. Just so poised, knocking down the nice jumper. And an offensive foul is actually going to go against Boston College with the push-off at the top of the key. And that's going to go against Marnell Gerard. So 0.9 seconds left on the game clock. You can see right here the push-off, very clear, the push-off at the top of the key by Gerard. So Carolina will get the ball back with 0.9. Kelly will heave. And that will be it for the first.
Well, Angel, we knew we'd see offense. Started slow. This is just one of many that I have seen on her. But a young coach that I can't say enough about. I've known her since she was an assistant at Dartmouth under Chris Welgus, and then did a phenomenal job at Princeton, that undefeated season. And as I've said earlier, has now just parlayed it into turning around this North Carolina program.
As I mentioned before, that perfect season led to her being the 2015 Naismith National Coach of the Year, and is definitely doing her part to bring back that champion type of caliber team to Carolina. And at this point, as we are in the second quarter of this game, Carolina is holding on to that 1-point lead, but Boston College had a phenomenal ending to the first quarter, where we saw a lot of transition offense from them. So we'll see if Boston College, or North Carolina rather, has any type of response or answer to slowing them down.
Well, I was eager to see how North Carolina would respond today. Obviously, they beat Minnesota on the road, but they've had blowouts. This is the closest anyone has been to them all season long, consistently through a quarter. And so I'm eager to see, with a little pressure, how the offense of North Carolina responds.
That's a great point because this team, as far as Carolina, leads the nation in scoring margin at about 36, plus 36. So this is a challenge for them and seeing how they can handle it at this point. You said it, Christy, ACC play, everything is on the line, bragging rights. This is how everything shakes out to finding those big wins. And then Coach McNamee also saying, we know that we're not predicted to win this game. We have nothing to lose. How do we show up? And a 3 from outside definitely ties the game, but also shows people that they are putting everyone on notice.
Angel, Coach Mack said that yesterday's quote before practice was basically about beating a team that no one thinks you can. And when you see the stats, you know why she made that comment. UNC, top 10, scoring margin, win percentage, field goal defense. Here, I'm going to summarize that in a nutshell. They've done really well to this point in the season. But when conference play starts, all stats, all records get thrown out the window, brand new season, and we're seeing BC show up in a big way here this afternoon.
We love to see it. It's a challenge every single day. And as you mentioned, there are no upsets when it comes down to just the pieces that you have on your roster. Boston College with the ball after a turnover from Carolina. We'll see if they can take their first lead of the game.
Well, early part of the season with BC, I thought shot selection hurt them in certain games. I thought they shot quick, didn't move the ball side to side, and I see a much more diligent offense today in terms of ball reversal, feeding the low post, and why not when Gak Dang is getting position as she has so far in this game.
Gak Dang 3, 4, 5 from the floor, 6 total points, and she's been dominant every time she's touched the ball, and it's been a godsend for Boston College. And a tie-up, and they will get the ball back. I like the tenacity from Boston College so far, Christy.
Well, conference play means physical play. You see Deja Kelly just fumbled a little bit, and you never want the ball in the corner against a high-pressure defense, and they tie the Tar Heels up.
Gak Dang at the top of the key, dishes it off to Gerard, and she knocks it down for the deep 3. 23-19 Boston College. Carolina responds with the 2 of their own.
But I'll go back to that. I have a feeling Coach Mack's okay with that shot by Poole for 2 reasons. One, she's better down low, but 2, that takes a good rebounder off the away and out of the paint for them.
Carolina will get the ball back. Well, Tuesday night right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app, the Tar Heels host Appalachian State at the Dean Smith Center at 7 p.m. Eastern. They won 5 straight, but will look to begin another win streak after falling to 21st ranked Kentucky last night in Las Vegas. It's all right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Because we've seen a couple of shifts in this game so far, and we mentioned just the outside shooting from Carolina that we would be looking to. Kelly got off to a hard start. We've seen even the pace and transition that we've talked about constantly from Boston College, but I think it's the energy in which Boston College is playing with as well, and the sense of urgency that has them with the 3-point lead.
And what are areas that you see energy, the defensive end, and on the glass? And so far, I don't think Coach Mack has any complaints about her team in terms of those areas. I think the biggest complaint is going to be ball security, the turnovers so far in the game. Already for BC, that was their 9th.
BC does get it back, though, and has an easy layup in transition. 26-21, BC with the 5-point lead.
And if you're a North Carolina fan, you've got to say right now, Usby needs a touch. So far in this game, 0 for 3 for your second leading scorer.
Boston College also doing a great job. You can see even the bench and the energy that they have, but they're shooting 43% from the floor, 80% in this quarter alone.
Well, how do you upset, and I'm using air quotes for people who can't see me, a ranked team? Get easy scoring opportunities, and BC's doing just that. They are pushing in transition. Marnell Gerard goes in unguarded for the easy 2.
And Christy, how about this? This is the first time that Carolina has trailed by more than 5 points this season. Talked about all the top 10 rankings that they have so far on this season, but that was one of them where they were the largest margin. Well, right now they're being challenged right out of the gate.
This is where, for North Carolina, they're a little shorthanded here on this season. They are without Key and Young. Both young ladies tore their ACL, so this is a much shorter bench, and from a Young's perspective, a less experienced bench that Courtney Bankhart could go to.
And you mentioned it, just everything that they were going to bring. Ariel Young from Tallahassee, Florida, and Tiana Key as well from Korea, North Carolina. But Boston College just finding a way to pile on the points. And this is their largest deficit of the season, continuing to pile up.
You say finding a way, I say finding Marnell Gerard and getting her the ball. I mean, Taylor Soule has been on the bench, and this offense has really flourished because of Gerard.
Kelly trying to find something at the top of the key. Boston College has done a great job containing her so far in the second quarter. That's a take underneath, and that's going to go against Eva Hodgson at the rim.
Hodgson, no more so as a three-point shooter, but we've already seen her ability to get to the rim, whether she's assisted or at that time being able to finish.
And Christy, that has to be the balance as well with Boston College trying to counter and make her put the ball on the floor, right?
This is another part of conference play. You want to take away your opponent's strengths, make them do something else to beat you. And so for UNC, they've taken Taylor Soule out of it, but Gerard has stepped up.
Alyssa for the holidays, Boston College taking care of business in this second quarter. You said tenacity, you said energy defensively. They've been a tear all over the floor, and Carolina still trying to figure out how they can counter in the second quarter.
Well, they've outscored the Tar Heels 12-2 in this quarter. I think that summarizes everything you just said. And finally, Usby gets a touch, but is rejected at the rim.
Kayla Ivey passing it up the floor. Bats dishes it off. Another outside shot for Boston College. 32-23. And Cameron Swartz. Right now, she is sitting at 8 points on the game.
I love the patience of BC on the offensive end. Ball went inside, make the defense drop, kicked it out to your shooter.
How about the help defense from Boston College? But we'll go from both sides of the floor, Christy, just as far as what they've been able to do. We'll start on the defensive end.
Maria Gakdang is becoming that rim protector for BC. Measures up the drive, gets the block, inside out basketball by BC. Cameron Schwartz spots up and knocks it down.
You said it. Gakdang leads the team in blocks. She's first in the ACC as far as freshman ACC blocks. She's tied for 5th overall. She had 3 in the previous game. She has been the paint protector for Boston College. Eva Hodgson knocks down the free throw for Carolina, who is trying to find their footing offensively. The amount of pressure that Boston College has been applying on the defensive end. 15-3 run in the last 5 minutes for Boston College as far as that run. A lot of contact with no call, no problem. Cameron Swartz is now in double figures with 10.
I think it's safe to say Swartz may be in his zone at this moment. There, through the contact, never deterred, knocks it down.
10-point lead for Boston College. Littlefield trying to work her way to the rim, gets the bucket.
And Angel, as good as this defense has been for North Carolina, their leading defender, Kennedy Todd-Williams, is on the bench with 2 fouls. So I have to believe that's disrupted them a little bit, unless you're Deja Kelly and you draw the charge.
Well, too, it's how everyone can step up for both teams. Cameron Swartz right now, you can see her averaging 13 points, and she'll take a trip to the bench and get a much deserved break. We can't say this enough. We haven't heard much from Taylor Soule, but when everyone else is stepping up, you mentioned it, Cameron Swartz has to be that X factor in those wins.
Well, and That's what a senior should do. We're seeing that here this evening. Your seniors, Marnell Gerard, Cameron Swartz, stepping up in Taylor Soul's absence on the floor.
Nice bucket by Alyssa Usby.
And I've got to say, if you're, sorry, Angel, but if you're a UNC fan, no panic. You're down 6 on the road, and that is Usby's first basket of the afternoon.
And another O-board, or almost O-board, but that will go to Boston College at this point. So now we're seeing, obviously, Carolina had their biggest deficit all season in this game, 34-28 for Boston College. What has been the difference to you in how Boston College has been able to create that type of game tonight or today for Carolina?
Well, they're getting some great looks, whether it's been off ball reversal side to side, because that's what you want because of the way Coach Mack's offense is set up. You want to bring the defense up, have an opportunity to rim run. If not, then off the ball reversal, some in-out action, some high-low action to open up shooters or get the ball down low.
I mean, why not? Maria Gakdang with another bucket underneath. That's 8 points for her, and I would say keep it going.
Well, it's almost like Gakdang's been waiting for ACC play to begin, because this is the most dominant I have seen her to this point this season. Posting up hard, being a rim protector on the defensive end, attacking the offensive glass. Again, look out, because I think this young lady has such a bright future.
She's already passed her average as far as scoring in this game. She's averaging 7.4 and 4.4 rebounds. Right now, she is having the time of her life in the paint. We're only in the second quarter.
Who needs Christmas when you have ACC play kickoff?
I mean, I'm happy. This is a nice gift for me. You know, I got the Christmas tree in the back. We're all excited about the holidays. So when you could see this amount of talent on the floor, it's obviously exciting to see.
No disrespect to Santa, but I'd take this any day.
I think I'm going to have to put my check next to your box as well. Underneath, Carolina with the bucket. Alyssa Usby is trying to will her team back into this one. Currently sitting at 4 points.
Great screen on the ball action. Gerard turns the corner, but Poole is there to say,
I like that. 3 blocks, 3 double-doubles versus Minnesota. 4 double-figure scoring games for her as well, and so she's trying to see what she can do for this squad. Carolina could see the scrappiness on the floor. BC finding in transition, gathers herself, and Clara Ford for the and one. Taylor Soul's liking what she's seeing from her team so far. 9-point lead with less than 50 seconds to go in the second quarter.
You've got to make your opportunities. Here it's just pure out hustle by BC. Players on the floor, taking care of the ball, pushing tempo. Clara Ford, the post player, running the floor, gathering herself through the foul, and one.
I like what you said there, Christy. Just he wants it more, the 50-50 balls, the scrappiness right now. I would say Boston College is winning in that department.
Well, I'm sure if we'd have asked Coach Mack before the game, you've got a 9-point lead with 1 minute to go in the second, and Taylor Soul has sat, she would have probably said we're crazy. But this has been an overall team effort by BC.
Boston College outscoring Carolina 22-9 in the second quarter. Eva Hodgson knocks down the first one for Carolina. Well, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app, we'll have the Huddle Bowl preview show. Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, and Mark Richt will take a look at the 10 ACC teams playing in bowl games with team breakdowns and comprehensive analysis like only the guys can provide. The ACC has sent at least 10 teams to a bowl every year since 2016. We'll see what they have to break down on the show. Carolina trying to turn some things, a bit of a run of their own, down 7 with less than 30 seconds to go in this half, and they'll actually come up with this foul as Alyssa Usby is going to take a trip to the free throw line, and I do believe this one is going to go against Maria Gakdang.
Well, credit North Carolina. They're not hitting shots from the field. Only 9 made field goals in the game, but already have 9 free throws. And that's what you have to do. You got to stay within striking distance until you find your shooter's touch.
So Carolina has made a run of their own late in this second quarter, as Usby can't knock down the first free throw. But it has been at the rim, trying to see if they can get more shots. And we know that this is a team that's known for their outside shooting. So their level of aggression at the rim has definitely stood out in this latter part of the quarter.
Absolutely. Expect Boston College to try to milk this clock down, get the last shot. But if I'm them, I'm going to use Gerard off an on-ball here.
See if they can get it to the top of the key. That's knocked out of bounds as Cameron Swartz is trying to get the ball at the elbow. They get the ball back with 7.9. A lot of pressure at the top of the key, and I'm not sure if they wanted to foul there. But that will send her to the free throw line. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I gotta believe that was not a purposeful foul.
If you're a coach, you love the energy, but at the same time, the amount of momentum going into the second half, I don't know if the free throws is where you want to send your opposing team.
Absolutely. And Gerard is a 72% free throw shooter, which is another reason why I think that was purely accidental that Kelly drew that foul, or caused that foul.
4 left. We'll see if Kelly can find a bucket. Inside, long 2, and that's not going to go. As Boston, if it gives her a little bit more energy in the second half as well. We'll have to get that at the end of the game. So if you are joining us, thank you for this Boston College North Carolina ACC, their first game of conference play. I'm Angel Gray alongside Chrissy Thomas-Getty, and Carolina with the ball first to come out of the half. They were struggling a bit as far as trying to find some points in the paint after a hot start. Boston College just swept back on their own 15-5 run before Carolina tightened things a bit before the half, but Boston College has been in control of the game the majority of the time.
One thing, credit BC's defense, because there have been multiple players in the paint at all times. To this point in the season, I think North Carolina's done a fabulous job of spreading defenses out, put pressure on them. BC, because of their game plan and how they're helping off, has nullified that for the most part.
You know, one area that Boston College could probably do a little bit better in is the turnover department. That's their 11th turnover with the double dribble at the top of the key by Jalen Batts.
At least it was a dead ball turnover, and by that they could get back and get their defense solid in the half court.
2 missed opportunities at the rim for Carolina. Now they're shooting 37% from the field, 11 for 29. You mentioned them in the top 10 as far as scoring offense and everything they can do in that department, but it's been a struggle as Boston College, it has not. Jalen Batts for 2.
Credit the BC staff for inserting Batts into the starting lineup. I feel like this offense has just been so much more consistent since she's come on the floor. A talented young lady can score off the bounce, as we saw the jumper. Just give them another long defender on the floor.
This is her 6th straight start for this team. She has 7 so far under her belt, but the team is 5-1 when she's in that starting lineup. You can see for good reason. They call her the do-it-all player for them, as that one is no good at the rim. But she's a Swiss Army knife for Boston College. Outside shot finally good for Kelly.
But credit Usby getting that rebound and pushing tempo. Players ran in the paint. Kelly spots up. Kelly knocks it down.
You mentioned the spacing on the floor as well. Nice take at the rim for Swartz. Didn't go, but this one does. Taylor Soule, who didn't see a lot of action in the first half, comes back with a vengeance and gets the and 1.
Well, as you mentioned, the heart and soul for BC. Penetration by Swartz. Credit Gagdang by elevating, grabbing the offensive rebound. Didn't force it up. Finds her senior streaking to the rim for the and one.
Taylor Soule had foul trouble, had sat in that first quarter with an early 2. We mentioned before, she leads the team in scoring and rebounding. She's improved in every department. She's improved statistically in every single category as well as each year. So this is something to see from your senior as she's constantly challenged by Coach Mack to do even more for this team.
And you see BC switching up the defense now, going into that 2-3 zone.
Kelly baseline jumper, no good. Carolina does come up with the offensive rebound though. And we'll reset, top of the key. Usby, back iron, gets her own rebound. Tries to create some contact, doesn't. Wild shot underneath. Boston College pushing again in transition.
Much better job of transition defense this go around for North Carolina.
Dickens trying to work her way to the rim and gets the bucket to fall. 48-36, BC. And quick like that, in which they can usually do. Todd Williams with an easy bucket on the right side.
Well, Kennedy Todd Williams sat the majority of that first half with foul trouble, so it's nice to see her back on the floor and impact this North Carolina squad.
Michaela Dickens trying to thread the needle a bit on the inside. On the connection on the inside, doesn't, so that's 12th turnover for BC. But once again, Christy, you mentioned it, dead ball turnover. And so they'll be able to set up in their defense.
And switching up the defense, now going back to the man. I like this, just trying, you don't want to allow a team to get in a flow offensively. Keep switching up your defenses, making them hesitate, having to read in terms of how to attack.
Probably Littlefield, I believe, will be able, drew the foul on that play. Carolina will take the ball out underneath. Littlefield with 9 points. Had a big second quarter as well. Trying to close the gap in that second quarter. And 2 more points underneath for Carolina, 40-48.
And it's the dribble penetration. Players looked at Kennedy Todd Williams off the dribble penetration. That left Usby open on the weak side for the easy 2.
You can see a bit of the momentum shift as far as Carolina getting a few stops. Let's see if they can finish the play and score on this possession as well.
Littlefield, it's hard to create any kind of momentum when you keep turning it over. They've got to come down, create better spacing, and at least try to get a shot opportunity.
And that's something that you mentioned as well. But let's talk about the Carolina penetration as far as what they've been able to do so far in the second half.
They've attacked more off the bounce. They haven't settled. Here, Deja Kelly gets in the paint. You see the defense rotate. Usby slides down the weak side lane line, wide open for 2.
See a little bit more poise in what they're trying to do for Carolina. I mentioned earlier, shooting 38% from the field the first half. A lot of their shots weren't falling, missing a lot of bunnies, but they seem a little bit more poised in their execution as there was a foul that's going to be called against Carolina. That one's going to go against Alyssa Usby.
And I love the set play call from the bench for BC. Trying to get Taylor Soule going, so you isolate her in the paint. Usby gets called for the foul.
BC, ball tipped, another turnover. Something I know my partner Christy doesn't like to see for BC. Kelly at the top of the key, slowing things down quite a bit. With that penetration and kick, but that one doesn't fall. When a scramble, Carolina was close to finding another opportunity under the rim, but BC will get the ball back. Well, thousands have been affected by Southern and Midwest tornadoes. If you would like to help, please visit redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover from this disaster. They're actively beginning large relief efforts in Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Missouri to provide safe shelter, comfort, and support in the face of one of the most devastating tornado outbreaks in years. Christy, I know that you mentioned something about what Louisville has been doing as well.
Absolutely. If you can give, please give. But hats off to Louisville's women's basketball program. They host a water bottle drive along with Kroger. They were able to raise, or they sent 56 pallets of water that filled 2 semis and another truck to help those in need.
So much bigger than basketball, and on the floor it's starting to get a little bit chippy. Kelly Gerard with the tie-up. We'll be right back.
It'd be like a high-story building, and who knows how well decorated it will be on the inside.
It all comes down to just how many candy canes you have. The icing is very big. I like the icing that was over the door, and the M&Ms, right?
Absolutely. See, the last time I did a gingerbread house was with my little nieces and nephews, and I ran out of materials because my nephew kept eating everything. So I can't say I've ever completed one.
I'll say the same thing as well. I do have one in the box for my sister when she comes up for Christmas, so we'll see. I'll send you the pictures and let you know that it's not as grand as you think it's going to be. So that would be that.
But I think the other thing about that picture, you see UNC's done with finals. So how do you feel the dead time for these athletes? Because you don't want them just sitting around and sleeping. And this was a team activity that was organized by the players. As Deja Kelly is just starting to heat up with that pull-up jumper.
I see a lot of competition on that, Christy. I mean, you see the candy canes, you see the competition that you have there. I even like the whitewater rafting idea too. So to your point, a lot of time that they can have those moments to build on the team.
I didn't even notice the wreath over the door the first time. The intricacies of the wreath over the door. Kudos, whichever student athlete did that. Kudos to you.
Well, Kelly can't complete the three-point play. They are down 9 to BC with under 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Down 8, excuse me. But Carolina gets the ball back, and they are pushing the pace. That's something that we saw Boston College do a lot of in that first half. But right now, they're really taking the reins and being a lot more aggressive in this transition.
Well, it's hard to get half-court defense set when you turn it over. 5 turnovers in this quarter already for BC. UNC's doing what they do best, getting it out in transition, attacking the rim. This time, Littlefield draws the foul.
Littlefield steps to the free throw line. She's a 75% free throw shooter, has some history. Courtney Banghart as well, as she played for her at Princeton as well. In her NBA, team captain, scored in 5 games, double figures, and has been really consistent as far as what she's been able to do on the floor. So she's trying to help her team come back in this third quarter and remain perfect on the season to push it to 10-0.
Littlefield, a 2-time All-Ivy League selection, and transferred to play under Courtney Banghart because she wants to be a pro. And we know Courtney Banghart's development skills and how she has sent numerous players to the WNBA. So this is where the transfer portal is such a good thing for these young people to elevate their game. And as we see her in the business school at UNC, not just on the court, but off the court as well.
Something they speak very highly of, just as far as what she's been able to do on and off the court, getting things done. Obviously, we mentioned being a team captain as well. The free throw line for BC. That knocks it down. It's a very interesting, different dynamic as far as the pace. You can see even the amount of pressure at the top of the key for Boston College. But Christy, to your point, we've seen a lot of different looks, and Kelly makes them pay on that defensive series.
Yeah, I mean, for most players, you'd say that wasn't a good shot because no passes in the offense. She just elevates and knocks it down. But This is how Deja Kelly's elevated her game this year. She's a 3-level scorer, just a beautiful jumper.
And that one rolls out of bounds. Will actually stay with Carolina underneath. A lot of contact even. Michaela Dickens slow to get up off of that last play.
I think we'll stay with BC, Angel.
Okay, so Boston College will get the ball back. If I'm corrected there, and 10 on the shot clock. And she's gonna have to do something quick. Coach Mack had to call a timeout there because she was trying to get her squad out of a desperation spot there, and they're going to have a quick break, so we'll take a break as well. Right now, Boston College holding on to the 52-46 lead, seeing if they have 15 turnovers. Christy, you know that that's something that you keyed in on at the top of the game. You also can't score without the ball. Some adjustments for them to continue in the game.
Absolutely. It's twofold for them. Obviously, they turn it over, they're not getting a shot opportunity. But the other part is they're not able to get into that half-court defense that was so disruptive in the first half. There, another turnover on the inbounds pass.
You said disruptive, Christy. You said they weren't able to get into a flow offensively. Maybe that's something that's playing into the hands of Carolina as they continue to try and cut into this deficit quite a bit. But it seems like the momentum has certainly shifted into their favor as they find things going. Kelly at the top of the key gets that one, but doesn't get it to fall.
Angel, sorry, I was going to say absolutely, because Carolina is not exactly shooting the ball well. To this point in the game, 33%, yet they're still in striking distance because of all the turnovers of BC. There, at least they got a shot off.
And then Taylor Soule can't quite get that one to fall on the other end. She struggled through this game today. She's 1 for 3 so far for Boston College. We'll see if she can get going in the second half. She didn't play a lot of minutes in the first half, so we'll see what the adjustments are for BC in that regard.
Well, Kenny Todd-Williams is known as their best defender, so her scoring's obviously icing on the cake because she's really out there, as she was just matched up with Taylor Soule to shut down the opposition.
Hodgson with the steal and is going to be able to step into the free throw line for 2 as she's fouled on that play.
Hodgson has done a great job off the bench of just attacking the rim, whether in the half court, this time in transition, gets the ball, draws the foul, headed to the free throw line.
You can tell after that timeout that they just come with so much energy to start, especially after the first half. We said that coach looked very unhappy about what she was seeing from her team at this point, and they've answered so far. Tuesday night right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app, the Tar Heels host Appalachian State at the Dean Smith Center at 7 p.m. Eastern. They had won 5 straight, but will look to begin another win streak after falling to 21st ranked Kentucky last night in Las Vegas. It's all right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. One app, one tap. A block call at the top of the key. Hodgson will pick up that foul. That's actually going to be her second personal foul.
Well, until the foul, I thought she was doing a fabulous job, because look how far out Kayla Ivy was to try to initiate that offense. Unfortunately, just get her feet around and drew the foul.
Another turnover, trying to thread the needle on the inside by BC. We'll see if Carolina can get things going from the outside. Kelly hits all but the part that matters, and that's out. Usby on the bench as well for Carolina. She got off to a hot start.
Sitting there with those 4 fouls. Great change of pace there. The lane just wide open. Great job by Ivy to get to the rim.
Known for as far as how she can defend, but right there coming up with some much needed points for BC. They extend their lead. Hudson can't quite get it on the inside, rolls around, and Gakdane comes down with the rebound. The ball movement is what gets you the and one for Taylor Soule.
Of Courtney Banghart said, we've got to sprint in transition here. No one does consistently. Taylor Soule gets it on the floor before the rest of the UNC defense. Great lead pass to the senior for 2.
So 5 points for Taylor. She's trying to get things going offensively. Currently has the 9-point lead over Carolina. And has had big games against Carolina as well. Right now sitting below her average.
Angel, just a subtle thing that Coach Mack just did. She sent Van Timmeren to the table to sub at the last moment so she could get the press set up to give her team time and making sure, just, again, a possessions game, everyone matters. Just a subtle game within the game by the head coach.
It's a great pickup, Chrissy, just seeing how they can slow things down and get into their defense. On the outside, Hodgson for 3, no good, over the backboard. So that'll stop the clock in less than 45 seconds in this third quarter. And BC gets the ball back. If you're Carolina, you like the shot that you get. They're just not falling for them at this point. Known for their 3-point percentages as well. Only 2 for 8 on the day.
Absolutely, and this is where they've got to create second chances. Crash the offensive glass. We saw that early in the game. They were a plus 15 in rebounding margin.
Well, I tell you who's feeling it. Gerard knocks down the outside shot and extends this lead for Boston College. Less than 10 seconds left in this third quarter. Kelly, once again, at top of the key, rims out, and that will do it for the third quarter, 60 to 40%.
Slow first half, but starting to get going offensively for BC here this afternoon.
It's just something about playing the Tar Heels for Taylor Soule. She just always shows up. She had the foul trouble earlier in the game, but so far she's finding her groove. And another person that has been on fire so far in the second half, Jalen Batts, knocks down another one.
Well, I've already done my infomercial on how much I like Batts and her insertion into the starting lineup. I just think she gives length, gives a little bit more versatility to this lineup.
Well, Carly Littlefield struggling from outside. 1 for 5 from the 3-point line. That's not all that's been struggling from Carolina. Here are two of the players too. Usby as far as Littlefield too, with 4 fouls so far. So even with the way that they play defense, that changes things as far as their level of aggression when 2 of their biggest stars have a little bit of foul trouble.
And Courtney Banghart told us that her best defender, bar none, is Kenny Todd Williams. But right behind her is Littlefield and Usby. So absolutely, Angel, to your point, it affects UNC on both ends of the floor.
Hodgson trying to do everything that she can to bring her team back. 10 points so far for her. Has been really good at the free throw line. We've seen her excel there, and that's going to miss everything for Boston College as that sails out of bounds from Gerard.
If you're Boston College, I think you attack and transition when you can. If not, be patient in the half-court offense. Get some ball reversal side to side. Get some low post touches, because good things have happened, whether the low post is scored or off the kickouts here this afternoon.
Kelly pulls up. She gets the 2, and that's going to be 15 points for her. She's leading Carolina in points at this point, and they need every single bucket as we're in the last frame to see what she can get done. They're down 11.
And that's why this game is by no means over with, because of how quickly UNC can score. But Gerard says, hey, so can I.
Gerard has been outstanding so far in this game. 20 points for her, 7 for 10 from the field. But what's more impressive is the 4 for 5 that she's been able to knock down from deep.
And in true point guard manner, shot the air ball so that she could get her team set back up on defense, avoiding a run out by UNC. So always thinking.
And it's so interesting just how she's that defensive player too. She leads the team in assists and steals, but showing what she can do on the offensive end. So we'll see if she can seal the deal for her squad, as that one's going to be brought down by Taylor Soule on the rebound.
Well, Angel, I like it because I think we're done with the days of where you're a niche player. You're a good offensive player, and a team will hide you on defense, or vice versa. In this day and age, you've got to play both ends.
You're seeing a great deal of that as Gakdane can't quite corral that one in, so that's going to be another turnover for Boston College, and an easy 2 on the other end by Kennedy Todd Williams. Carolina still down 11, but trying to make their way back. Well, we have 4 great women's basketball games this afternoon on ACC Network, and the next 2 are going to be must-see TV. Following our game, Virginia Tech center Elizabeth Kitley leads the Hokies against Florida State in their balanced attack. Then at 4, Alyssa Canane and number 2 NC State hosts Virginia at Reynolds Coliseum. All games are right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. You know it, Christy. One app, one tap. One of my favorite apps on my phone, so I always have to make sure I drop that in there.
Angel, shouldn't we just tell everybody, just get comfortable till around 8 p.m. tonight? Because not even listed was the Wake Forest Georgia Tech game at 6 p.m.
Oh, that's going to be good.
ACC fans, you're getting an early Christmas gift this afternoon.
'Tis the season for great basketball, right? I love it. Block underneath for BC, and we're going to see which one this rolls out to be. The bench for Carolina is saying stays with us.
You had 2 deflections and a shot block in that one possession by BC. They weren't sound defensively, but they were relentless. They didn't give up, and I thought it was UNC ball as well, but fortuitously, they get the ball.
Chrissy, it's very interesting, too, just when you look at the stats. We've looked at the tail of the tape for both teams and rebounds and points. But when it comes down to it, creating second chance opportunities and extra possessions, Boston College has put themselves in a position to do just that. And that's why they have the lead. But what other things are you seeing from them so far that has kind of led to this lead that they have so far in the fourth quarter?
Well, I think while they haven't been perfect, they've stayed with it, whether it's been defensively or offensively. I mean, how many times do you say you're up 11 and you've had 20 turnovers in a game?
Not many. I don't think a lot of coaches would even want to hear that number at this point. And Carolina is just finding ways to take advantage of that as well.
This is a tough UNC team. Hodgson has just been able to get into the paint off the bounce nonstop today. Kicks it out, is not able to knock down the 3, but Carly Littlefield stays on the glass. And this is your point guard for UNC, who is averaging over 3 rebounds a game. She's so strong, so good at just pursuing rebounds. That time saves the possession for UNC.
12 points for her. She's averaging on the season 10 points per game. Knocks that one down as well. She had 25 points versus Penn State, so she can definitely light it up and put the ball in the hole, and they'll need more of her to close out this game. A lot of pressure at the top of the key by Kelly, trying to disrupt BC and Gerard, who's been hot so far for Boston College in this game. So once again, a lot of attention on the defensive end for Carolina. That's going to lead to a BC timeout. So as they try and figure out how to counter that type of defense, we'll go to break.
For the people, by the people. I mean, you just see the personality. Great smile, great young lady, great set play out of the timeout. Stays with it, finishes.
Swartz with the bucket. Right out of the timeout. That's everything you want to see as a coach, I'm sure, Christy.
Well, Coach Mack had to call that timeout because North Carolina had extended their defense, high pressure, and you love it when a team responds with the ATO conversion.
Bit of a miscommunication there. 10 on the shot clock for Carolina as they dish it off from outside. And they have continued to struggle from the three-point line, Christy. We're going to wait to see here who this foul goes against, because this may be Usby in her last foul, but we're going here. Look at that pass, Christy, right here, but then also the finish.
Beautiful pass, great cut by Schwartz, but more importantly right now, Usby fouls out of the game.
fouls out with 7 points, 3 for 11 from the field, and she's trying to get a little bit of direction there. And it's been a tough night. You saw in the first half how she tried to will her team back into this one, but it's been a tough one. Boston College has been everywhere, all over the floor, and kind of blitzed every look that Carolina has thrown at them.
Well, I can't help but believe that that's affected their half-court offense as infrequent as Usby was on the floor this evening, because this is a young lady who is 5th in the ACC in points per game, 2nd in rebounds per game, and 3rd in field goal percentage. I should say was entering this evening.
Well, entering this game for sure, and an outside shot no good for Boston College. You mentioned it before, just Boston College being able to knock down a great percentage of their threes. They're shooting 50%, but on the cue of that, Carolina with an answer of their own and gets the steal and the foul underneath, and just like that, that's a swing that could be 5 points within about 10 seconds.
Well, no lead is safe against UNC, and Hodgson has just stepped up in a big way. Knocks down the 3 here. UNC immediately turns to give a little full court pressure by Littlefield. Just a sloppy pass, inbounds pass by Batts. Littlefield, fortuitous, gets the steal, draws the foul.
Just being aware with this bucket here, if she makes this one for Littlefield, it can make it a 2-possession game, and does. Full court pressure, you're seeing a little bit of the full court man from Carolina to approach the halfway point in the 4th. Lacey outside shot no good, and that's tracked down by Littlefield. A foul is actually going to be called, and that's going to be the 4th BC foul. The next one is going to send Carolina to the free throw line.
Courtney Banghart has gone to a smaller lineup. Likewise, Coach Mack has balanced with a smaller lineup as well. So if I'm BC, get Taylor Soule on the block right now and let her go to work versus settling for so many outside shots.
And that's been an adjustment too in the first half. We didn't see a lot of minutes coming from Soule because of the foul trouble. So Gak Dang had a lot of nice touches on the inside, which kind of caused some different looks for Carolina defensively. We'll see if they can continue in getting some of those looks. But that foul at the top of the key, Christie, is the 5th team foul for Boston College, and that's going to send Carolina to the free throw line.
Carolina's such a good free throw, or I should say just a 69% free throw shooting team. So there, Gerard she doesn't go at the angle to try to even poke it out. Great call by the official.
So Carolina chipping away as Littlefield steps to the free throw line. Knocks down the first one, makes it a 5-point game. That one makes it 4. Carolina entering today's matchup at 9-0. Trying to see if they can remain perfect with less than 5 minutes to go in this ball game. Showing the full court pressure.
It's just man-to-man pressure, but you see how it's just taken BC made them out of sorts in the half-court execution. Again, small lineup for both squads. Would love to see Taylor Soule get on the block and get a touch. Or actually, Gak Dang's back in the game.
Soule to the rim, dishes it out, but that's a travel call. Study long, study wrong. That's going to be another turnover for Boston College. I hate to say it, but that's the 23rd of the day.
I feel like that's one of those possessions that Coach Mack was telling us about with Taylor Soule. Wants her to be a little bit more selfish. Thinks she's just way too unselfish when it comes to looking for her shot. She said, hey, you're one of the better players in the country. She just needs Taylor Soule to truly believe that and take ownership in a game.
You see that as she turned down the shot on the inside. It's go time. They want to complete the upset because Carolina is on its way, and it's a 2-point game with 4 minutes to go.
The inability of the perimeter players of BC to contain dribble penetration has really come to haunt them here in the second half. That time forced a rotation by Gak Dang, left the weak side open for 2.
BC has led this game for a little over 26 minutes, but Carolina is on the cusp of tying this one up. Stoppage of play here. BC gets it underneath, and Christie, just like that, a two-point game. We were talking about the tenacity from Boston College, but now playing with the lead, we'll see how they're challenging and what they can do at this point.
I think that out-of-bounds play was set up for a little alley-oop pass to Taylor Soule, well defended, but then UNC gets called for a hold.
Taylor Soule so lethal from the floor. 60% of her points come from the interior. You see the extra bodies that she attracts. She can't knock the first attempt down.
Well, we see Taylor Soule getting aggressive, attacking the rim, but Deja Kelly stays with it from the backside, gets that block. Soule comes down with the ball, calls time out for BC, leaving them with only one to go for the rest of the game.
Well, this has been a we're back at Connie Forum as this one is really getting chippy towards the end of the game. Less than 4 minutes to play, and Boston College trying to hold on to this lead they just scored in that previous possession. Once a two-point game, UNC doesn't score in that last possession, so we'll see if Boston College can take care of business here at the top of the key with Gerard.
2 timeouts in this quarter, 2 times BC's come out and scored as Schwartz is on a 5-0 run just by herself right now. But something to watch for BC with only 1 timeout to go in this very tight game.
5 quick points out of that timeout for Boston College. Carolina was with down 2, and just out of that, Schwartz just on fire saying, I got you, putting the team on the back.
Well, great execution of the screener on the out-of-bounds play. Schwartz elevates and knocks it down. And then a little driving kick from Gerard. The senior knocks it down, and her teammates are loving it.
Loving the seniors can just step up, and everything she's been able to do in this game, she's been unbelievable. 20 points for her. Gerard has 20 as well. So it's the unassuming. Christy, before the game, you were saying Schwartz is the X factor. She has to have a game where she stands out in the losses for Boston College. She's been that player that didn't score much. We'll see if she can fine-tune things today and close it out.
Yeah, I mean, BC's wins this year, she's averaged over 13 points a game. In their 2 losses, just 4. So that right there shows her worth. But here's the other thing. It's conference play. If your seniors don't step up to ball out, your underclassmen won't.
Leading by example is a foul on the play as Schwartz was trying to work her way to the rim. That's a 4th foul for Carolina. At the top
4th foul in a hurry by Carolina. Schwartz just changing direction and catches Kennedy Todd Williams with a reach in.
So the next free throw will actually put BC on the line. Schwartz working the baseline, dishes it off, and a beautiful look underneath for BC. Yak Dang with another 2 for 11 points. That's 3 players for BC in double figures.
Angel, I said to you during this last break, leave Maria Gakdang on the floor, and this is why. Schwartz, change of pace, attacks, pulls the weak side. Gakdang dives down the middle of the floor, presenting herself to her senior guard. Easy catch and score.
Nice bucket for BC. Well, Tuesday at 6 Eastern right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. We'll have the Huddle Bowl preview show. Jordan Burnett, Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, and Mark Rick will take a look at the 10 ACC teams playing in bowl games with team breakdowns and comprehensive analysis like only the guys can provide. The ACC has sent at least 10 teams to the bowl every year since 2016. Looking forward to seeing if the guys can break it down for us and what those teams are going to look like.
Angel, I just mentioned BC need to leave Gat-Dang on the floor. It's no longer a coach's decision as she just fouled out.
And that's a tough one because she was doing pretty well from the floor. 11 points, 5 for 7, but I'd say that she's done her part. Also contended to. They're checking out her lip over there. It's been a physical game, and it's everything that both coaches were expecting. We're seeing how Boston College has been able to respond through the runs and even taking care of their own business on the defensive end. A little bit of horns action at the top of the key as Gerard doesn't like the look. 7 on the shot clock. Gerard pulls, no good. Carolina with the rebound.
But at least they got a shot opportunity, and they milked the better part of that 30-second shot clock.
90 seconds to play, and one call for Carly Littlefield. And bucket after bucket, Littlefield has been called on and doing a great job.
Well, UNC, we've talked about how they've struggled from outside, so I love this change. Just attack the rim, and the guards of UNC have had their way in terms of turning that corner and get to the rim here in this second half.
Talked about the surge that Carolina had in this fourth quarter. Well, it's due to Littlefield and her aggression. She's so far 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Knocks that one down as well, and it's a one-possession game. We got some contact between Destiny Adams and Taylor Soule.
On the head, we've seen it. When teams have out-grittied, new word, the other one, they've gone on runs today. Right now, it seems to be that it's UNC who's been a little bit more gritty here in these last couple of minutes.
I like it. I'm going to add it to my thesaurus. Yeah, come on, Christy. Gritty. Basketball fans, make sure you stick around too. Virginia Tech takes on Florida State, but it will start on the ESPN app. Have it right after our game concludes. So we're approaching that 1 minute mark in this one, and this has been a fun one to call. Carolina is not done yet, trying to see if they can work their way back on this one. Only down 3, all the way to the bucket. Littlefield with the call and the answer again.
Well, another turnover by BC, and then on the defensive end, they were just in scramble mode the entire time. Credit Littlefield for being patient, not trying to force dribble penetration, waited for ball reversal, attacked, and scored.
And that's what it comes down to, is seeing the poise, because they look very disgruntled here, and the turnover is actually going to be called against Boston College. So Carolina's going to get the ball back. She stepped on the sideline, actually. The officials pointed to the sideline there.
Well, UNC comes out after the Littlefield free throws and changes up the defense, forces the turnover. Littlefield there just turns the corner and gets to the rim. No rotation by BC.
Carolina gets the ball back, and then quickly, without regard, Kelly just takes out Taylor Soule, and what a defensive stop.
Taylor Soule is not the soul of this team for no reason. Has struggled offensively, has struggled with foul trouble, but is not struggling with her defensive presence. There, moves her feet, draws the charge. Huge turnover by UNC.
You think she wants this one, Christy? A lot of the attention at the top of the key. But another timeout is going to have to be called by Boston College. Stick around.
Angel. Sorry, I was going to say, Coach Mack saved that turnover because Schwartz was about to travel.
Stands, actually, and then we can compare. I'm not too sure.
Santa would never leave this game. This is just too good of a game. And back to the action. BC right now has got to take care of the basketball. You got basically a 6-second difference in the shot clock and game clock. And you see the horns action yet again.
Less than 8 on the shot clock. Charge called against Marnell Gerard. So Carolina will get the ball back and have the last possession of the game with 13.8 left.
And the 26th turnover for BC might just be the biggest. Great team defense by UNC. Hodgson rotating over, draws that charge on Gerard. You gotta believe that little fumble there caused her to just continue to go forward.
But you mentioned it too at the beginning of the game, because both teams playing the scouting report too, knowing Gerard is easily getting to the rim. I like what you said, the team defense was good, but I like what you said about Littlefield. Who does the ball go to? And she has been able to show up for this team so far in the second half. 22 points for Littlefield, 6 for 12 from the field, but something that's more impressive than any of that is that she's 9 for 9 from the free throw line, so even seeing if she can free herself up to get to the rim, I'm assuming would be the call for coach. They put 13.8 actually on the clock. Kelly dials it up and gets it to go. It takes the lead, 74-73 over BC with 9.3 left in this ball game. Two of those coming to definitely come up with the 1-point lead late in this game. And if Boston College can hold on and actually score in this possession. Christy, I was going to say too, that was an early shot. North Carolina could have taken the last shot of the game, but leave a lot of time on the clock. And Achilles heel, Christy, it would be the turnovers for Boston College.
Yeah, this is where some of those earlier timeouts by BC really came back to haunt them. Because you got
It is right. Added a little bit of time after the previous timeout, leading at 10.3. See if it sticks to 9.1, but there was a foul on the play, so Kelly is actually going to go to the free throw line. She is 4 for 5 from the strike on the game.
Well, the good news for BC is even if she hits 2, it's still a one-possession game. But as we just saw, their first and foremost objective is to inbound the ball cleanly. Then you got to imagine it's going to be Gerard getting the touch and having that three-point opportunity. Although we also know Dickens is also a good three-point shooter.
She's got eye on both. Kelly knocks down. And there's actually a timeout for Carolina.
Cody Bangart wanted that timeout, came on the court to demand that timeout, and she got it.
9.1 left in the ball game. As expected, the full court band and man right out of the gate. No foul so far here. Swartz got a nice look at the 3, and that one's actually going to do it. They tried to work themselves back